presented by Matthew Lloyd, who has come to us all the way from Dubai today. So I feel very honoured you've left the lovely heat of Dubai to the weird heat of the October London sunshine. Please give him a warm welcome to the stage.
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you to Movable Inc. for the opportunity to be up here and for the amazing event. Also for the opportunity to kind of have that song play. That's one of my favorite songs and thought it was kind of appropriate. My name is Matthew Lloyd. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing Technology and CRM at Global Hotel Alliance. I've been with the company now for about 5 years in a few roles, starting with marketing communications and email, expanding focus to CRM, and now with a broader focus on marketing technology. Originally from Dallas, which is why the song's appropriate. I transitioned to Dubai in 2019 on what was supposed to be a year-long project to hire a few people to shore up the team internationally to have a bit more coverage. And 4 years later, I'm still there. So I'm enjoying every moment of it, but it's been a cool journey. So most of my career has been in the travel space, spending time with Southwest Airlines, then to Hilton Worldwide, where I was first introduced to Movable Inc. Then some time in finance marketing, which was a completely different animal. Compliance and process-driven marketing isn't as fun as travel and loyalty, but it has its value. I've brought a lot of that into the way that I kind of lead my team now, taking the joys of travel marketing and then merging that with some of the process and compliance-driven approach that came from finance to deliver what we approach with personalization and automation. It's basically not losing that aspirational aspect of it, but looking at pragmatic approaches to marketing, which is where the art and the science component comes in. So today, we'll be talking through pursuing personalization from the GHA perspective. We'll be looking at some of our automation efforts and how they've been integral to our loyalty and commercial initiatives. Our loyalty program was recently relaunched in 2021, 2022, which was the result of some extensive customer research. And as a result, we decided that we wanted to reimagine the way that we were delivering loyalty. This presented a number of new challenges and new opportunities, which was included in the core of our product offering. This saw some significant impacts to how we engage with our member base. Additionally, we'll be looking at changing trends in travel behavior and how capitalizing on localized initiatives and interactions has been a priority without losing sight of the aspirational travel, the idea of the dream trip, or that opportunity to stay in the most luxury hotel. So I'm hoping that you've heard of Global Hotel Alliance or GHA Discovery. If you have not, I don't blame you, it's okay. We're a growing program. We are the world's largest alliance of independent hotel brands. We have 40 brands that collectively make up 850 hotels, and we're in 100 different countries. We've grown exponentially over the course of the last year or so, but locally you may be aware of brands such as Kempinski, Pan Pacific, Corinthia, Nikki Beach. We have a very diverse portfolio, and it's continuing to diversify as we grow. And then recently, we just crossed the threshold of 25 million members, which we're quite proud of. Again, speaking to the growth and the trajectory of the program. So in late 2019, we decided to move forward with a refresh based on some of the customer research. One of the main learnings was immediate gratification was an expectation of customers, which is not really a unique learning if you're in the loyalty space. So in 2020, keep that there, we started a program overhaul, obviously at the most opportune time, which was in the middle of a pandemic. This included rebranding, re-education, resetting KPIs, and revising communications, and delivering all of this simultaneously across a very lean and oftentimes undermanned organization and team. Most of these changes centered around the introduction of our digital currency, the Discovery Dollar. Discovery Dollar is essentially a reward system that's a cashback, giving you 4 to 7% on your spend at property, meaning your stay or possibly even venue-related spend, getting that back into your wallet, which you'll see how that kind of plays into our strategy going forward. Post-relaunch, we're seeing a number of positive indicators. The increase in demand has been exponential, and I think we were the benefactors of what anyone in travel realized after the pandemic, which we call revenge travel. Everyone that was cooped up wanted to get out and wanted to explore, wanted to see a lot, and so we reaped the benefits of that after some trying time and some trying years. But what's a bit more indicative is this 80% in repeat revenue. What that was, and it was more of a mandate and more of a validation of the efforts that we put into rebranding the program. We're seeing members that are earning those discovery dollars and then having to spend those in those properties, meaning they're coming back for second and third stays, when in some cases we weren't seeing the return of those members. So one of the ways that we, and many other programs, reinforce loyalty and build loyalty is our account statement and our account summary. So this was a significant project that we undertook with Movable. As we begin with the rebrand and the redesign of the email creative, we saw it as a daunting task because the program had shifted and evolved in a significant way. On the left, you'll see the previous iteration of the account summary, which is a lot more streamlined and a lot less complex, that looks at more of a night-based program to earn these particular awards. On the right, you'll see the movable powered version, which obviously looks at the different methods that members can move through the program, can earn an upgrade, but also you look at the new data points that are being brought in that have to be ingested and validated. With the increase in the way that these members could move through the program, that presented a challenge of how do we communicate that in a very direct way. Here you'll just see 8 data points that we're displaying when the previous version only utilized 4 to 5 maybe. Collectively in this particular dashboard, we're using at least 12 data points across 7 different canvases to deliver what is essentially a one-to-one personalization of highlighting your progress in the program, but then also highlighting ways that you can move through the program. These are some of the account details that are also featured in this space. So here, you'll see our graphs, which was probably the most challenging deliverable of this. So when we started the creative aspect and the design of this, obviously first and foremost, you're not thinking about how do you actually make it work. We just wanted it to look amazing and wanted to tell the story. We approached this with our creative agency that we had brought in for the project for the redesign, and essentially they did their best effort to try to get this done. In this space, you'll see 3 different graphs that basically highlight the way you can achieve the next level. 1, through the number of nights that you're spending with the program. Stay 10 nights, you get to the next level. 2, the amount of spend that you can basically create to move on in the program, and then the number of brands. These are all essential KPIs in our program. As a result, we've seen very significant engagement and lift in respect to this version against what we did with a default version. The click-through rate was a 170% lift on the default version, which was not movable powered. But what's more impactful here is this 45 hours of production time savings, which I think is actually quite a low number. In reality, the deliverable took several months for us to get there because not only were we trying to develop the creative against the data, we were also at the same time validating the data. Meaning there are new data points that we had never used before, so we're working with our BI and creative teams to basically balance this out and deliver something that not only was impactful, but was also accurate. As you see the messages in those wheels, if I tell you only have certain amounts of dollars you need to spend to get to the next level, we are being held accountable for that, and there have been a couple of times where we had to deal with some customers that are very aware that the information wasn't accurate, but we had to basically honor that particular information. That falls directly to us, and this is one of our highest engaged communications, and so again, we thank Movable Inc. for all the effort and all the help that they put in to make sure we got this done. So one of the focuses we look at here is encouraging members to stay even more and spend it even more based on using their discovery dollars. And we see the opportunities lie within those engaged members, encouraging them to engage even more. So some of the learnings that we took from the account summary, we started placing these in things like contextual banners, highlighting particular milestones in the members' progression and their journey, looking at expiring currency as a way to drive more stay behavior, looking at the fact that they're within a threshold of 5 or 4 or less nights to actually deliver a upgrade by making that next stay or staying at the next brand. Another way we're enforcing loyalty is through communications like our pre-stay. Now, this is seemingly straightforward. We'd had versions of this before, but here we're looking at reinforcing even elements of the program. You'll see the overlay of the hero. That's a color that aligns with the member's level. You'll see obviously the stay details. You'll see the weather that's being pulled in based on the forecast, based on that particular property you're staying at. the number of discovery dollars they have there, but then also, and we'll dig into this a bit more, you'll see member-only offers that basically can be redeemed either at the property or at properties that are in proximity to the property they're staying at. We delivered this using GraphQL, which we'll dig into a bit later. Traveling forward, we'll now kind of discuss how evolving travel behaviors have been integral in the way that we approach personalization in respect to localization. So with the relaunch, we became a bit more aware of the need to action on consistently traveling or evolving travel behaviors and how that was deviating and diverging based on a member's location. For instance, we were able to see that regional travel destinations mattered differently based on where a member was. Chinese travelers, for instance, were likely to travel abroad, but only wanting to stay within a particular region. Japan, Thailand were essentially the most popular destinations for those members, but they typically stayed within China. Versus members in the UK, which is another really big travel market for us, were more likely to explore, more likely to get outside of the region and want to have some of those really significant and diverse experiences. These divergences highlighted, again, the need for us to have one-to-one personalization and tailoring those particular touch points to each individual member regardless of where they were. We can no longer make these assumptions. So another way that we take the localization aspect and tie it into another one of our core KPIs is using cross-brand as a touch point in our post-stay journey. So a lot of the brands that join the program join because of the cross-brand opportunities, meaning we have a number of brands that are very regionally located or have a dense presence in a particular region, but don't have the reach maybe from the US to Asia or from Australia into Europe. They join to be able to get that exposure, and that's what we provide as GHA Discovery. So in this particular case, we've taken this particular communication and looked at the member's location and then associated particular brands based on where they are in the world, what country they're in, and where there's a presence of brands that are within a proximity to them. Taking this a step further, the Weekender here is another solution in which we used an internally developed data solution to basically attribute 3 to 6 properties for each individual member based on their proximity to those properties. These become, again, more relevant when we're looking at staycation behavior or opportunities to drive quick weekend getaways. We utilize the proximity, but also recent channel engagement and stay behavior to identify those that are going to be a bit more likely to engage and maybe take that quick trip on their weekend. This basically takes the data points using merge tags that we pass into Movable and basically displays these very highly personalized and hyper-targeted solutions. We saw a 117% lift in the unique click-through rate against our typical benchmarks for this particular communication. And we're going to continue to evolve this, basically taking those same data points and associating them with non-stay opportunities. You saw a bit earlier that I had highlighted in that particular pre-stay that there's a GraphQL integration we're using to pull in those members-only experiences. So with that, GraphQL was a solution and integration that we wanted to use to basically pull in offers directly from our CMS. So we're using the GraphQL solution to pull in via API these in real time. So in this case, and with the previous case, we're passing a resort code via that API, and then as a result, a response, we're getting back an offer that's relative to that. We can use other factors such as a stay type, non-stay offer experience to basically identify what's being brought back. Here you'll see one of the 4 iterations of our abandoned cart email, in which, in this case, we're displaying a property based on the fact that this member abandoned this particular property. Ideally driving behavior or identifying or driving retargeting or follow-up based on the fact that this member was interested and ideally getting them to book based on the offer that's available. And for the month or so that this has actually been in market, we've seen a 125% lift against the default version of this particular touch point. So as I was explaining a bit earlier, we see this implementation as an opportunity to use and highlight our stay offers, our local offers, and our experiences. Again, 3 different products. Stay offers obviously are related to you booking a stay, but the local offers are products that are non-stay related. You can go into any of these hotels and book a local offer or an experience as long as you're a member of the program. So we've taken the initial version of that module and have started developing different iterations of that so we can utilize this across different communications, whether they're scheduled comms, lifecycle, or triggered. Essentially, we see this as an opportunity to continue to build foundations, refining these, but then also creating these modular approaches to data and information and display that, one, are important in terms of product time savings, but also relevance of the information that we're passing to members when we're passing it to them. This is going to become very important after we've implemented our CDP and personalization solution to, again, continue to refine the data that we're passing, either the resort codes or the other requests that we're sending via these APIs and these integrations, to make sure that the information that's being passed at the time of open is relevant and is essentially what the customer may be looking for. So what's next for Global Hotel Alliance? We're going to continue to build these elements and modules across all of our lifecycle, triggered and scheduled communications. We've seen this as important because we've been able to reutilize things in a number of communications by changing maybe the data point that we're passing or changing the source of that information. Increasing the intake of data points via these movable interactions. This becomes, again, important as we implement the CDP, in which we're trying to essentially enhance profiles. So Movable has a lot of that information on the back end in which members are clicking and engaging with particular modules, even using progressive profiling to really highlight that, driving this information into these profiles and developing these super enhanced profiles that allow us to do this across channels. Ideally, having a aligned omni-channel / cross-channel journey that basically takes information from every channel to develop and deliver something that's impactful. Expanding our technology, obviously, as I just referenced, and then also positioning ourselves for the AI and ML revolution. I think, as much as we've talked about AI here, one of the big components is actually being prepared for it. Do you have the framework? Do you have the structures in place to actually deliver on that? And that's something that before you're jumping too far into it, at least in my opinion, you have to be sure that you're ready to utilize it. AI is a big world. There's a lot that can actually come into that. And I think even with some of the conversations that we're having internally, there's a desire to get there with not knowing what we're going to do to action on that. And so this is what we're essentially trying to build right now. So as far as key takeaways, maintaining agility to drive personalization is essential. Building out these frameworks has been essential for us in terms of building flexible structures that are reusable, that can serve multiple purposes. For us at GHA, over the course of the last 6 to 12 months, we've seen exponential growth in the number of hotels, but also partnerships that are oncoming. Brands that aren't necessarily a part of the alliance, but partners such as cruise lines, homestay solutions that are becoming associated with us. This becomes more products and more content that we're looking to develop and deliver at the right time. Having these modules in place becomes integral for us to be able to deliver that without having to exponentially grow our teams as well to keep up. This is also important, again, in respect to technology that's evolving, AI, ML, CDPs, anything that you're bringing in, having these structures in place, again, cut the need to either expand your team or to look for other resources. Secondly, highlighting value is key. For us, loyalty is a currency that is integral to everything that we're doing. Loyalty, obviously, directly attributed to our digital currency is something that we continue to infuse into our messaging. But the benefits and everything else that the program brings is also quite important. We use the opportunity to reinforce aspects of the program that are important to each member, meaning the benefits that you get just by being this tier are just as important as the discovery dollars that are in your wallet. With that, we see opportunities to, again, target the content based on the fact that this member is at this particular point in their journey, and again, Movable has been really integral to that. Aligning these expectations are essentially our approach to one-to-one tailored personalization, and then looking to approach this will deliver success for us and for most of you. Thank you.